So drill or focus on it and bring up just one of these things, one of these metrics, along with a data table down below. And of course, this can also be exported. Next. And this here is a scatter plot. Again, we have a lot of different presentations that we can show. The scatter plot is a very useful one because it allows us to correlate. Here, we're correlating multiple measures, attendance by ELA proficiency with different bubbles. And those bubbles can actually, if you hover over those, you can see more information. We can scale those to show proportion as well. And I think that's the last of the dashboard slides I have, Rebecca. I can't hear any audio.
Yeah, neither can I.
Are you guys muted?
I can't hear anything either.
I think this is your topic, Sarah. So maybe if you can speak, assuming we're still on, we can continue going, I guess.
Hi, can anybody hear me?
Well, I can hear you, Sarah.
All right. Well, I'm not quite sure why I cannot hear Rebecca speaking, but my name is Sarah Petrowski, and I am the Student Outcomes Coordinator in Sacramento City Unified School District, and I work very closely with our linked learning department to assist them with their data needs. And so I am part of the team here who is sitting in on the Trailblazers Committee. As you can see, Sacramento City Unified School District has a long history of linked learning. And we place a lot of value in being able to measure outcomes of not only pathways, but also pathway students. But the reality is that at times these outcomes are often difficult to track. We also think it's important to be able to measure harder to quantify metrics like work-based learning experience, student engagement, and student persistence. And so in our opinion, the linked learning data system is very special because of the weight that practitioners have been given in designing the system. And we have been able to have a voice in what the system measures and its functionality. And so the Trailblazers are these practitioners that are working through the tough questions about how to measure success for pathways and for pathway students. And in our opinion, the result is that the dashboards are modern and user-friendly and comprehensive and very informative to the pathway certification process as well, to make sure that we are getting the most bang for our buck and streamlining our efforts whenever possible to make things easier for everyone who's involved in the linked learning world in our district. And so we're very excited to have been asked to be a part of this work and feel very reassured that the group that has been convened is going to do a wonderful job in making sure this system really serves the need of linked learning pathways throughout California.
Rebecca, can you still hear us? Charlie, I think that's you.
Hey there. Are you all able to hear me? This is Rebecca.
I am now.
Fantastic. So sorry about that. We're having some technical difficulties over here, but I'll go ahead and kind of take it back. Thank you so much, Sarah, for that overview about the work that we're doing with the Trailblazer District and the experience that Sacramento City Unified has been having. So just wanted to switch gears a little bit. We've been talking to you a lot about the vision behind linked learning analytics, what you can anticipate out of the dashboard to use it, and what the experience is of districts that are already using this system. We wanted to switch and tell you a little bit about, even though the system is new, we've been able to accomplish a lot in just the last year, but we have a lot of other expansion areas we're anticipating and a lot coming down the pipeline over just the next couple months and years. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about that. Our future plans for linked learning analytics include really expanding the scope of data that will be included in the dashboards and in the analyses, supporting an integration and an alignment with the certification experience, also supporting an integration with Launchpath, the regional work-based learning management tool, and starting to refine and add the types of analyses and reports that are possible for a district, a pathway, or a regional user to receive out of the system. And so with that, I wanted to introduce Charlie from Education Analytics to tell you a little bit about what our next iteration is going to look like through the linked learning analytics dashboard. So it seems like Charlie may be having similar issues as I was having earlier, so I'll go ahead and talk you through some of these pages for now. What you're seeing right now is a proposed main landing page. So when Brian logged you into linked learning analytics before, you saw that homepage summary. What we're introducing is a potential for you to log in directly and see a breakdown of kind of the overview of your key performance indicators, including aligning them with the key categories that are part of certification across an integrated program of study, work-based learning, and student support. And you can see that on this main landing page, you would also be able to look at some of those indicators, not just in summary statistics, but also through some type of a longitudinal approach and compare that pathway trajectory with the school, the district, or your larger region. Similarly, we've designed this in a way where not only will you be able to look at that summary, but you would be able to drill into a specific indicator or metric and really break that metric down by demographics, by age, cohort. So here you can see that we're looking at a sample pathway, the criminal justice pathway, and we're looking at the pathway completion indicator. And you can see that we're looking at this both by class year, by grade level, but also by race and other subgroups such as English language learners or students with disabilities. So really able to break that down into some pretty small subgroups and try to cross-analyze. Similarly, we've kind of broken it down into some other indicators around that pathway where you could have a summary of demographics, but also look at various other indicators and the percentages associated.
Hey, Rebecca, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay, great. I hung up and called back in, and seemed to work out okay.
Fantastic. So I was just on the supplemental metrics section. I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that. Otherwise, I can go to the next slide.
I think maybe go to the next slide. I didn't catch what you had already said about it. So. Okay, great. So one of the things that Alex mentioned earlier is, and let me introduce myself first quickly. My name is Charlie Hartman. I'm a data strategist with Education Analytics, and we're working with the Linked Learning Alliance and the Trailblazers to get this analytics platform going and making sure that it meets the needs of districts. So one of the things that Alex had mentioned earlier is that we're taking a look at we want to make sure that this is regional so that we can kind of get a sense of what other places in the region might be, other schools within your region and other districts within your region might be seeing with their pathway data as well. All right, here's another view that gives another sense of it, similar to what Brian was mentioning earlier with the scatter plot, taking a look at a couple of these metrics and seeing how they might correlate in other places as well, comparable districts and schools in the region. Some of the things that we're thinking about more downstream in terms of the advanced analytics that we'd like to start developing out and building out with the Trailblazers and eventually for consumption with all of the linked learning partners is some advanced analytics. So the first one is looking at impact modeling, which compares pathways that have similar students. So using statistical techniques to make sure that we're making more apples-to-apples comparisons with between pathways and measuring the impact that pathways have on students. Another exciting opportunity that we've started to take a look at is post-secondary analysis. So connecting with some of the local community colleges across California, Cal State system, and trying to connect this data to get a little bit more insight into what happens to students after they graduate the pathway and how the pathway affects them as they get ready for college. And then finally, predictive analytics for policy planning. We want to be able to take a look at things like predicting pathway completion, identifying students with an aptitude for a particular pathway, and predicting success of implementing a pathway at a particular school given a student population, so that we can have these kind of analytics that let people make really sound policy decisions around their pathway programs. So these are more downstream things that we'll be looking at in the next year or two to start implementing. All right, great. And I think, Rebecca, I think Brian will be taking a look at some of the future data domains.
Yeah, there's not a lot I have to say about this one, guys. There are other data domains that we're actually currently in the process of integrating into the solution. So some of these things have started already, but there is a vision for adding more and more data down the road responsive to the things that you're looking for from us and the feedback that we're getting from the Trailblazer districts.
Yeah, absolutely, and I would add to that as well that one of the big ones is going to be work-based learning. Tracking this is something that's very non-standard, so we're kind of looking at innovative ways to start collecting this data in a meaningful way that will really inform decisions that districts are able to make about their pathways.
Great. Thank you so much, Charlie and Brian and Sarah, for those overviews and for your perspectives. Actually, rest of most of our introductory slides that we wanted to share with attendees today. We just have a recap for you of what some of the next steps are that districts and potential partners can anticipate. If you want more information and just to take a little bit of time on your own to explore what linked learning is, analytics is, and what it can offer to your district or region, you can visit the linklearning.org website and search certification and analytics. You can also reach out to the Linked Learning Alliance at info@linklearning.org. And if you're wanting more information about the other tools or services that we've mentioned on the webinar, we do have an upcoming webinar on Wednesday, March 1st at 11 a.m. all about LaunchPath, the regional work-based learning solution to manage the full continuum of work-based learning experiences. But with that, we did want to give a chance to any of the attendees to ask any questions you may have. So if people want to start entering those into the chat bar, we'll try to make sure that we're tracking that and getting to any of your questions you may have. So I see the first comment is, do the colors indicate anything on the most recent slide? So I think that's in reference to the data domain slide, where we have a number of different specific data points that are referenced, and some of them are in various different colors. I can kind of start. So some of the coloring just reflects what some of the newer and future added data domains are that we'll be building out. You can see some of these are reflective of the same data domains we referenced at the beginning of the slides that we're already collecting, but some of them are newer that we're intending to build in as we continue to advance the linked learning analytics dashboard.
Yeah, I think magenta is entirely new domains of data, and the bluish color is sort of an expansion of an existing domain.
Yeah, that was a great question. I'm not seeing any others coming through right now, but I do want to give folks a moment to enter in some questions. We have a bit of time left. Great. So I see that it does seem like a couple more folks have some questions, so we'll follow up with you following the webinar. I want to thank you all so much for joining today and taking the time to learn a bit more about linked learning analytics. As I mentioned before, we do have more information if you go to the linkedlearning.org website. Also, please feel free to reach out to any of the Linked Learning Alliance staff, and we'd be happy to answer your questions or connect you with some more in-depth conversation from some of our data partners or current district partners. Again, thank you so much for joining us today, and that will conclude the webinar on linked learning analytics. Thank you so much.
Thank you.